Gender, the differentiation between masculinity and femininity. The physical, mental, and behavioral characteristics of man, and in our case, phenomenal woman. Health, fitness and good physical condition, freedom and liberation from sickness and injury. Family, all descendants of common ancestry, important to many and valued by some. Here is a clip of Daisy Bates articulating her strong opposition to hatred and prejudice discrimination.
For the rights of man, you never free from fear. I never know when they're going to pass here and blow this house to bits. We still got flooding telephone calls, the hate mail. But nevertheless, I feel if I'm going to live in this town and live with myself, I must oppose hatred and prejudice in any way that I can.
Strong woman, Mary McLeod Bethune, politician and founder of the Daytona Educational and Industrial Institute for Negro Girls. Angela Davis, American political activist, scholar, and feminist studies professor, well known for bringing the feminist studies program to the University of California. Betty Shabazz, nurse, educator, mother, wife, and Delta Sigma Theta sorority sister. Daisy Bates led the Little Rock Nine to be the first African American student in attendance at Central High School in Little Rock, Arkansas. All women striving to break barriers for generations of women to follow, they did not allow the gender hierarchy of the 1950s to hold them back. During slavery, women were declared inferior and given jobs as nurses, midwives, and cooks, not to mention how often they were beaten, raped, lynched, and scolded just for trying to advance in the skin they were in. Deprived of reading, writing, and freedom, who would have thought they would have transformed into women, paving the way for others, providing education for all African Americans, spokespeople fighting for equal rights of the black population, and mothers raising children who would soon change society.
Mary McLeod Bethune rose to international prominence as a political activist. Being a child of former slaves, she wanted to give other children of the same race an education. In 1904, she opened a school for African American girls. The school eventually grew into Bethune-Cookman University. Her determination to improve the lives of all African American women, in particular, led her to becoming active in several women's clubs. Some of these were the NAACP and the National Council of Negro Women, which she created in 1935 to let black women be heard at the national level. Angela Davis also was for the rights of black women. Davis took the more aggressive approach, however, as she felt the need to address the specific concerns of racism and sexism within the socialist movement. Davis argued that as a result of slavery, black women were forced to join the labor force, were frequently viewed by white society as a commodity. In her novel, Women, Race, and Class, she discusses the origin of women's rights movements in the United States. She notes that one of the shortcomings of these movements was the tendency to overlook the needs of black women as well as white working women.
As a woman, Betty Shabazz was a member of the Nation of Islam and an active leader in the Muslim Girls Training and General Civilization class. She was a black woman superior in women's gender roles. She fought hard for both racial and gender equality. She wore many hats, one of the most prevailing being a mother. Gender, which could have been a barrier during her time, did not limit her. Going through the motions after her husband Malcolm X was assassinated, Betty was almost ready to give up because of his unjust assassination. She realized giving up due to his death would not better society. Although raising 6 young women was rough, she pressed on, sharing the words of her husband and their beliefs. At Medgar Evers College, black women comprised most of the staff, and 75% of the students were female, 2/3 of them mothers. These statistics were appealing to Shabazz, a strong woman ready to take on any teaching she was. An esteemed African-American woman of the Delta Sigma Theta sorority incorporated, she united with other black women, forming a sisterhood like no other. Blood couldn't make them any closer, which gives people on the outside a visual of what she truly embodied. dedication to public service with emphasis on the Black community, she, along with others, bettered society. Daisy Bates was such a powerful woman figure. Not only was she an African American looking to make a difference in the lives of others, but she was also a woman. During this time period, women were still not treated the same as men. The fact that Bates was an African American woman proved she would fight for what she believed was right. She did not allow her appearance to take control of the situation. She stood her ground and chose to make a difference. Daisy symbolized the legal fight to desegregate public schools after the ruling found in Brown versus Board of Education was unconstitutional. In the year 1957, Bates helped 9 African American students be the first to attend Central High School in Little Rock, which was an all-white school. The Little Rock 9 faced tremendous conflicts and were treated poorly amongst everyone. They were discriminated against and were looked down upon just because of their skin color. Daisy Bates was the poster child of Black resistance. She was a quarterback, the coach. We were the players, says Ernest Green, one of the Little Rock 9.
Just as the white man is able to go all over the face of the earth and receive the same dignity and respect in one country as he does in the other, the Afro-American or the African, wherever he goes, receive indignation and disrespect. And he felt by internationalizing the problem, by helping the Africans, and in turn the African helping us to get our rights, that a Black man, an Afro-American or an African, could go all over the face of the earth and receive the same dignity, the same respect as any white man. And I think that this was one of the aims, and it was a very good aim.
Both Bates and Shabazz were advocates for a healthy and safe nation for African Americans. After leaving such a legacy, Daisy Bates suffered from a series of strokes, leaving her silenced and crippled. Betty Shabazz. After graduating high school, Betty Shabazz left Detroit, where she was raised, pressing on to study elementary education at the Tuskegee Institute. Experiencing racism for the first time, Shabazz 2 years later left for New York City, becoming a registered nurse, granting health for humanity. In fact, when Malcolm X was shot, she tried to resuscitate him.
As a woman, Betty Shabazz was a member of the Nation of Islam and an active leader in the Muslim Girls Training and General Civilization class. She was a Black woman superior in women's gender roles. She fought hard for both racial and gender equality.
Angela Davis purchased 4 guns.
There is a conspiracy in the land. It's a conspiracy to wipe out the Black community.
Family, something that all of these women have in common, whether it be the one that they came from or the ones that they've raised. Men and women took on different roles. The women kept the family together and strong despite society's adversity. Daisy Bates, not a mother at the time, protected and supported the Little Rock 9 as if they were her own children. She risked her life to ensure they'd earn the education they were worthy of.
Before age 7, Daisy was adopted by her foster parents, the Smiths. By age 15, she met her husband, a journalist, who she'd marry and unite with to produce the Arkansas State Press, which was a weekly statewide newspaper advocating for the civil rights of African Americans. She also had a family away from family, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, which she joined upon moving to Little Rock. Within the NAACP, Bates claimed her dreams were tied with the organization, which her adopted father had served as a member before he passed.
She later founded an institution in order to provide African American children with a foundation to grow, attain knowledge, and advance as a population. Born in Georgia but raised in Detroit by adopted parents, Betty Shabazz was able to obtain a decent and promising education. As the wife of the extraordinary Malcolm X, She mothered 4 of his daughters, raising them to be beautiful, strong black women. At the time of his assassination, she was pregnant with his 2 youngest daughters, who were twins. Shabazz also cherished a family not of blood, but her line sisters of the esteemed Delta Sigma Theta sorority incorporated.
As a woman, Betty Shabazz was a member of the Nation of Islam and an active leader in the Muslim Girls Training and General Civilization class. She was a black woman superior in women's gender roles. She fought hard for both racial and gender equality.
Born in Birmingham, Alabama, to a town marked with racial conflict called Dynamite Hill, Angela Davis was the daughter of a national officer and organizer of the Southern Negro Congress, heavily influenced by the Communist Party.
Civil rights extraordinaires, African American education connoisseurs, and gatekeepers of such amazing legacies, Betty Shabazz, Angela Davis, Daisy Bates, and Mary McLeod Bethune are women whose names shall indeed live forever. Being African American women, they've managed to be exemplary activists and roots fueling gender, health, and most of all, family. Black women prevailed, being that they were constituents of over half the black population.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine.
Civil rights extraordinaires, African American freedom struggle connoisseurs, and the guardians of such phenomenal legacies, Betty Shabazz, Mary McLeod Bethune, Angela Davis, and Daisy Bates' names shall indeed live forever. They were black women, prevalent, being that they were constituents of over half the black population. Being an African American woman, as mentioned in Lesson 6, they were exemplary activists and roots, fueling gender, health, and most of all, family. As deserved, Shabazz, Bethune, Davis, and Bates are honored for their many contributions to bettering society. As time flies and history is being recreated, their names live on, leaving behind schools, development, strong communities, and an uplifted black population. Women standing strong for family, gender, and promoting good health have made their mark, and for that have everlasting life.